Thank you.
Watching Taylor Swift request a wedding date, Travis Kelce becomes emotional. The evening was still and quiet, with a clear autumn breeze flitting the leaves outside. Travis Kelce sat in his opulent living room, the soft illumination of the television casting over the space. His eyes were fixed on the screen because of something far more personal than the Monday Night Football game playing. On TV, seated in an intimate, honest interview on a talk show, Taylor Swift? The woman who had captured his heart? She was about to make a major declaration. He had heard about it earlier. His interest had brought him in, but what he did not anticipate was the emotional tsunami the host would unleash. A dynamic personality noted for maximizing the potential of celebrities leaned forward with a knowing smile. Taylor started. "You have shared so much with your fans through your music, life, and love, but one thing I think everyone is dying to know, when will we see that magical wedding we have all been waiting for?" The camera focused on Taylor's face, and Travis sensed his chest constrict. Her facial expression combined exhilaration with fragility. She stopped momentarily as though she were compiling her ideas, then leaned back slightly with her fingers whirling a strand of her blonde hair. She said gently, "That's a big question, isn't it?" Sensing the humor she always brought with her, the audience laughed. "If you're wondering though, I have most definitely considered it. Travis is really unique in my life, and it seems as though all we have gone through together has simply strengthened our relationship." Travis felt a lump form in his throat and reached automatically for the remote to adjust the volume. In his chest, his heart was thumping. He felt like the luckiest man living when he considered Taylor, his Taylor, talking so freely about him to the world. But what she said next made everything feel real. "I suppose I should ask him when would be the ideal time. The date should be set when?" She laughed a little, but her voice carried a gravity Travis could not overlook. The words hung in the air, resounding across his whole existence. Taylor had just put herself out there, and he knew this was not a passing comment. She was expressing, in this sense, her readiness for the next phase of their life, the next chapter. The concept of marriage was no more a dream, it was a reality. Travis's mind flew. He had always known Taylor was exceptional, but hearing her so freely express her wish for a future together overwhelmed him. His feelings grew stronger, and he blinked quickly to try to stifle the tears gathering in his eyes. Though this was different, he was a professional football player used to the pressure of the game, the spotlight, and the thousands of fans expecting him to always keep his cool. This concerned love, about the woman he loved, about starting a life together. Though Travis lost himself in his thoughts, Taylor's voice kept filling the room. He went over the times they had spent together, laughing together at a concert, helping each other through trying circumstances, and how she always knew just what to say to make him comfortable. Beyond her appearance, he was enthralled with her care, the way she made him seen and heard even in a world so noisy and busy. "I understand that's a major leap." Taylor went on, glistening eyes staring straight into the camera. "It's difficult to picture waiting permanently, though, when you discover someone who feels like home. I suppose I'm ready for a life with him, a real life, not the kind that's always in public view, but something personal, something just ours. I'm ready for Travis to open the next chapter." Travis let the tears flow at last, like a wave slamming against a shoreline. Though he felt more vulnerable than he had ever felt at that moment, he was not ashamed. Rather, he felt strength. That which resulted from knowing Taylor felt the same way he did. She and he were ready. Travis sat back on the couch throughout the interview, his hands firmly clutching the armrests. His feelings washed over him. He was seeing the start of something that would permanently alter his life, not just a woman he loved talking about their future. He felt a warmth he couldn't quite articulate when he thought about walking down the aisle with Taylor and calling her his wife. He pictured the vows they would say, the promises they would make to one another, and the life they would create together. The interview ended, and Taylor's laughing filled the room once more. The host lifted an eyebrow and grinned knowingly. "That is indeed what you have. Taylor Swift is curious about the wedding date. I believe we all just became somewhat more eager for what is to come as the show cut to commercial." Rather than turning off the TV right away, Travis sat there for some time considering all that had just happened. It was not a joke or a passing thought. Taylor was asking about a wedding date. She was serious, and in that seriousness, Travis saw his future, a future with her. The phone on the coffee table buzzed. It was a text from Taylor. "Thus, I suppose our wedding is now under planning. What then do you think?" Winking face. Travis found himself smiling among his tears. He typed back fast, reversing, "In all my life, I believe I have never been more ready for anything. Let us bring this to pass realistically." In that moment, he knew he would do whatever it took to make that permanently as beautiful as the love they shared. He hit send and leaned back, letting himself savor the moment the woman he loved was ready for forever with him. Watching Taylor Swift ask for a wedding date makes Travis Kelce emotional. Late March's Friday evening was frigid, and Travis Kelce, the Kansas City Chiefs' star tight end, was home, stretched out on his living room couch. Though the game was over, the great win earlier in the day still lingered with adrenaline. Of course, Taylor Swift, but the soft hum of the television in the backdrop seemed to match the buzz in his head about the approaching season. Having spent months in his life, Taylor had brought with her a rainbow of feelings he never would have imagined. Their connection had resembled a dream. There were times when Travis would catch himself grinning for no apparent reason, thinking back on their last date and caught in the ideal mix of tenderness and excitement. Though tonight was about something more, something Travis had never considered he would experience: vulnerability. The sweet messages they exchanged after games or their ridiculous inside jokes were not about football or fleeting events. He was about to see something that would fundamentally alter his perspective on relationships, love, and life itself. Taylor had just put out a brand new music video that was sweeping the planet. Her creative brilliance was on full show as usual, but this time there was something more. Something Travis was not ready for. The film began innocuously enough. Taylor walked across a large, ethereal ballroom in her flowing gown. Travis discovered he was becoming more and more enthralled as the video went on, while the soft music played in the background and the images swept over him like a gentle breeze. Taylor's eyes revealed a yearning, one that directly spoke to his heart. This was more than just another love ballad. Taylor was shown in the video as a bride walking down a white, flower-lined grand aisle. But the most shocking scene came toward the end, when she stopped at the altar by herself. Her eyes glistening with unshed tears, the camera zoomed in on her face. Then, in a voice that seemed nearly to whisper to him, "Perhaps I have been waiting too long. The love of my life should be here with me right now. What would happen if the one I am waiting for finds it too terrified to act? What if I have to ask for a date? Who else has to do this?" Travis stopped his heart. The words landed harder than he had anticipated. His fingers clenched the couch's edge, his breath shallow. He wasn't ready for this. "I have to ask," she said gently again. "Will you wed me in the video? Will you seize this opportunity with me to provide us the future we both so well deserve?" As Taylor left the altar, still alone but driven by her own choice, the music swelled and the visual changed to a dreamlike quality. Travis sat frozen, his mind racing. He had never seen Taylor so vulnerable, so open. She seemed to be directly addressing him as though her words were meant for him. Was this their relationship's metaphor? Had she been waiting for him to ask for something deeper, something permanent, that next step, that which requires bravery? Suddenly, the insight came to him like a tsunami. Taylor was ready. She was ready for the next chapter, and maybe, just maybe, he had been too terrified to make that move. Travis stayed even as the video stopped, froze. He slumped there, lost in his thoughts, the weight of the event falling on him. He couldn't stop considering what she had done. It was not only about proposing marriage, but also about choosing her every single day, even if the world was chaotic. She had shown on screen beautiful, raw, and honest, which made him realize how much he loved her, and how much he wanted to be the one to step up and take the leap with her. His phone buzzed next to him, yanking him out of sleep. It was a note from Taylor. "Hey, I just watched the video. You observed?" I had to ask. "Not sure if I'm being too audacious here. I must know your perspective." Travis felt his heart skip a beat. She was waiting for him to respond, to be vulnerable the way she had just been. He choked hard while his fingers floated over the keyboard. "Travis, I arrive here. Right now, I am feeling a lot. That video really hit me more than I anticipated. You should know that I am ready to go forward to be the man, always accompanying you." A few seconds later, her response emerged. "Taylor, you're not simply stating that. I need to know you mean it." Travis realized the most crucial thing of all. She was waiting for him to commit, not just for a proposal. He laughed gently to himself. "Austin, I mean it. I'm not just stating it. I think I'm ready to ask for that kind of date that transforms everything." Taylor responded almost immediately. "Are you ready, Travis Taylor?" That his chest tightened and he felt a tear slide down his cheek makes me very happy. Though he had never felt more vulnerable in his life, that kind of vulnerable, that which meant progress, was the kind that meant love that evening. Travis phoned his family, his teammates, and even some close friends the following day. He informed them of his scheme. It would not be a grand public show. This was personal, something intimate. When the day came, in a quiet moment at sunset, Travis knelt before Taylor with nothing but love in his heart and asked the question that would change everything. "Will you marry me?" He wanted Taylor to spend eternity with him in a way that felt true to them both. Her eyes filled with tears, and in the softest voice she whispered, "Yes."